You can watch on our YouTube. My daughter calls it, my younger daughter, she calls it a YouTube. Daddy, please put my video on my YouTube page. All right. Just to give a bit of context as to why we're doing this live video, we do these from 11 to 12 every Friday without fail. And the purpose of why we do them is one of two things. On the one side, we're crowdfunding. We started a whole crowdfunding campaign called THUDmoney franchising Stokvel. And it's been popping. It's been popping like you cannot believe. And I think, you know, when they say an idea whose time has come, they talk about things like this. You guys would remember when we started that back in 2012, that it just happened naturally. I mean, I didn't even think that would blow up the way that it did. But a big part of why it kind of blew up was because we kind of needed a platform like that at the time when it emerged. So we are seeing another revolution happening now, where our initial core focus was to build a culture of entrepreneurship. And we believe that we've done our job and we've handed over the baton, because there's a shitload of Black entrepreneurship events happening across South Africa now. And we're blessed to see that other people have carried the baton and they are all running their own things. So the culture is popping. Now what is actually needed is access. I mean, we are all complaining about access. One of the biggest challenges around access is access to funding. You know, we've had a consistent challenge around that as Black entrepreneurs in this country, and not because there's a shortage of capital, but because there's a challenge around the regulations and the requirements for what you must qualify for in order for you to actually get that finance. A lot of Black entrepreneurs in this country are blacklisted, and I know this because we engage entrepreneurs all the time who come to look for funding from us. A lot of them are not compliant in nature because they're running survivalist businesses, and they unfortunately do not have social capital. Their social currency is a bit low, just purely because their networks are not as moneyed as our counterparts, being white entrepreneurs, especially in this country. You know, so the average person does not have that rich uncle, and if you do have that rich uncle, our rich uncles do not think the way, or do not see things the way that we see them. They tell us that we must get a degree and get a job, and the moment you go and start your own hustle, they just look at you like, what you doing now? You know, even your family supports you because they have no choice. Like, what else are they going to do? You know, so there's a culture thing that we need to embed quite deeply around how things must move forward. And having said all of that, we do get support from our families. I mean, we're still here, you know. So it's important to balance the scale in terms of what is happening. Now, what we are trying to solve for now, and we've been doing it since 2017, we launched the People's Fund, which is a collaboration between Brown Sense, Paybook, Soha Africa. We said with that, yay, let's launch our own funding platform and do something about it. And I mean, 3 years later, over 100 million and rising. So we know we're doing something right there, but it focuses on purchase order funding. So I want to bring it back home and say, okay, how do we now participate in the ownership of the economy in a meaningful way? You know? So that was like my prelude. I want to introduce my host and boss, Mbali. She makes the magic that happens behind the pots. Everything that you often see on digital platforms and the content is because we have Mbali in our team. Without her, would be sinking, and that is the honest truth. Clap for her, guys. Clap for the girl.
Yo, what's up, guys? Yeah.
I want to see comments on Instagram.
Mbali, yes, responsible for content. Was that fine?
Yeah, so leave that, talk to the people.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, THUDmoney franchise Stokvel. We're 10 weeks in and we are sitting at 1.5 million.
Oh yeah, that's popping.
Which I think is quite cwery. I mean, we did it, you know, a whole collective of us. It wasn't just one person alone. It was all of us involved, and we were actively contributing, still are, because our main goal for each group is 1.5 million. For now, both the groups combined add up to 1.5. So we need that number for both the groups respectively.
Yeah.
I think September is going to end on a pretty high note, on a pretty good note. It was just month end, so it's time to pay up. Let's make it happen, guys. I think it's amazing what we've gotten ourselves involved in. And also, you know, some of our team members have extended the stokvel concept into their own friends, into their own families, which is quite good. You know, it's awesome to witness. I think it's great.
I just want to show you.
Can they see the numbers?
This is me teasing them, you know. It's like, you know. So where we at right now, we haven't counted today's money that people put in.
Contributions, yeah.
It's 1 million. It's 1.5 million and a young 37,000 on the side. So I anticipate that in the next week or so, we should have crossed the 1.8 million mark. Hopefully by end of September, would have crossed the 2 million mark. And there's about 20 spots left, right? If not less, actually, because we onboarded a whole lot of people yesterday. We're just waiting to tally up the numbers in terms of. So there's people who join and then they don't pay. About Thomas, they're coming in there to see, sneaking in, like, what are these guys doing? No, but also some people are doing this because they want to go and start their own, and this is what encourages me. You know, like I really, I'm for that spirit where you see something, you're like, I need it in my town, but the way that Abole were doing it is not quite the way that I want it. So let me go and start my own thing, and let me copy some of the things that are doing. We are for that. So copy as much as possible because there needs to be a whole lot of this type of stuff happening across the country. I believe strongly in the concept of collaboration. I believe in the concept of knowledge sharing. We must share information as much as possible amongst our people. And if you need assistance, if you need guidance from us in terms of how to start your own stokvel that can make money, we are the guys to come to. But that knowledge is not going to come for free. So I do virtual Zoom sessions for 30 minutes, and this is just like a startup pack where I charge $550 for 30 minutes to just walk you through what you need to know, and just like how do you raise money from people? Like if you want to know those type of things, holla. I don't do it for free, and $550 is a really cheap amount, by the way, because my hourly rate is actually 1.5 to date for now. So that is just us sharing with you and saying to you, look, you don't have to feel shy about copying any of our concepts. Copy away. We like that. We like that people must replicate, because the more that the country can do this, Black people have an actual challenge in this country. We have a challenge of collaboration. We have a challenge of getting ourselves together and doing things that matter. You know, we don't have enough of platforms that are collaborating. But I'm loving what I'm seeing on the Stokfella platform. Stokfella.com. This is a platform that was founded by Tsepo of Stokfella. And the purpose of Stokfella is to digitize stokvels and help people with the common interest to get onto the platform, self-organize, and anybody that puts money in, we can all see. Anybody that tries to claim money, we can all see. You know, very important. And you get a daily update, an email that tells you who has joined, how much has been paid, what is being owed, and there must be a constitution there that determines what is this thing being set up for. The beauty of a stokvel is that it's less regulated, so you can quickly organize yourselves and do everything, but there's still rules, you know, and those rules are rules of the team. What we are trying to do with stokvels right now is move stokvels into cooperatives, but functional cooperatives. One of the challenges that we're facing in this country is that when you look at the white community, especially the Afrikaans community, they're doing amazingly well when it comes to co-ops. Their cooperatives are industry giants. I mean, KWV started in the Western Cape is a prime example. KWV is a global brand, and they're a cooperative. A co-op is a formalized stokvel, if you think about it. So this is why I believe strongly in the concept of starting a stokvel and doing something about it and do something amazing and meaningful. Solve a problem. So don't start a stokvel because you just want to get together to drink and whatever. We've got enough of those type of stokvels where people put money together, they buy groceries, and then at the end of the year, they distribute accordingly. Great. But can we start thinking about the concept of thinking ownership? You know, when you think ownership, you think the future. And this is what we are trying to really encourage our people to do more and more. We are trying to encourage each other that wherever you are in your locality, the moment you self-organize and you set up a constitution of why you are getting together and what the purpose of this thing is and where you can go with it, you'd be amazed at what happens. You start attracting the right minds around you. And Everybody is just waiting. What is missing is vision and leadership. There's not enough of people with a vision in this country. There's not enough of people with dependable leadership qualities. And there's a lack of the number one currency in transactions, trust. If I do not trust you, I will not give you my money. We have proven it. In 10 weeks, we are over 1.5 million because people trust us. Why do they trust us? We are very transparent in our processes. We've shown from 2012, anybody who was in the early days of that, you would have seen what we have done to date. You like everything that we do, we build it right in the public eye. And we do this purposely because we want to influence other people to do similar things and to do even greater exploits than we have. When it comes to THUD, there's entrepreneurs like Native Nosi, there's Skinny Spoo, there's Walk Fresh, there's the Lazy Makoti. All of these superstars once upon a time pitched on the platform called the Hookup Dinner. Your typo gene makers, so we believe in providing a platform where your ideas can flourish. And it's a peer-to-peer network. So when you come to Lebo, you're not coming to Lebo because Lebo's an expert. I know nothing. But the little that I do know, I can help, I can contribute in guiding you towards the right direction. And because of that, because we've built it with African principles of Ubuntu in it, it has thrived. It's in over 14 countries, this concept. It has even been adopted by the UK. In the UK, we've got a thriving chapter in Hull City called THUD Yorkshire. We even fund entrepreneurs in Hull City. And this is the beauty of this type of thing, that if your idea is purpose-driven and it solves an actual problem in the marketplace, it will not struggle to live on. We're in year number 8 doing this thing, and it has given birth to a whole lot of other concepts out there. So let us work together, guys. Let's find ways. Let me just hand over to Umbali before
you get carried away.
Yeah.
Like you have. You've been.
Preach!
Hello. And I think just to add on to that, Lebo, the most important thing for us is to find local Black-owned businesses that we can scale, that we can franchise. I mean, our first peak might have been Jimmy's, but we would love naturally to expand this opportunity to our own, to our hood, to our people. We've all got beautiful brands. We've all got nice brands, but it's just a matter of you guys, you brand owners, positioning your brands in such a way that we can franchise, in such a way that they can scale at that rate, because you can only grow, a business that's solid. And we just want to encourage you to make sure that you have your ducks in a row, because we really need to grow out and sustain our own value chains as Black entrepreneurs.
I love that Mbali says that, because I've heard this question come up so many times, even in our circles offline. People saying, but why are you guys buying a white brand? No, we start where you trust us. You guys trust franchising, so we start there. And if it's Nando's that you want us to buy, we'll buy Nando's, if that's what it takes to gain your trust first, right? And once we pass that phase where you know for sure that the things we do live on, and the other thing, some of the lessons we've learned is that when we started crowdfunding on the People's Fund, a lot of the entrepreneurs that are still emerging in their startups, they have a lot of dips, and majority of investors in South Africa are not ready to lose their money. How much more people that are investing in a stokvel? If we lose your money, you're gonna come for us, And I don't have the energy to be fighting people for my 15,000, and it's buy this or scale and this. So we start with things that are risk averse, but the intention and the vision of starting that franchising stokvel is to franchise Black-owned businesses. But to franchise any Black-owned business, you've got to help them to become solid. They have to be grounded, they have to be rooted, they have to be making proper money for a consistent period of time. And that's where our enterprise development strategies matter, because if we can franchise Black-owned businesses, imagine the 3 triple ills that we struggle with across Africa: unemployment, poverty, and inequality. The number one thing that we're intending to solve through franchising is unemployment. If you solve unemployment, you automatically solve poverty. If you solve poverty, inequality drops. We've got one of the highest Gini coefficients in the world when it comes to inequality, because there are no opportunities and we're not creating those opportunities. And it's not because we are not enterprising in nature as Africans. That's the number one thing that we are. The enterprise started in Africa, But what we lack is scale in our thinking. And technology offers us that opportunity where we can scale our thinking, where we can scale our solutions. And, like we started a stokvel. Previously, if you started a stokvel, you would have to go and meet at an Mbizo and whatever. And we started a stokvel during the pandemic, during COVID-19. And we raised over 1.5 million in 10 weeks. And it's just the beginning, In the first month of the People's Fund, I think we raised close to 50K. In the first month of the People's Stokvel, somewhere there, around 52, close to 100K. I don't remember exactly the figures. In the first month of this franchising Stokvel, we've already raised over 1 million. And why I'm sharing this is that we have built our brand in the marketplace. We have built our name. We have learned a couple of things, and it's becoming easier. When you hear THUD, you trust what THUD has to deliver. Why? Because there's a history. There's a trail. There's a paper trail where you can go and search and say, oh, these guys this is what they do. Oh, the lazy makoti. I know the lazy makoti. Started there. Oh, perfect. Skinny boo. Oh, okay, no. These guys, I can trust them. That is the purpose of it. Is that you have to create your name in the marketplace, and you have to take time to build that brand. I mean, this is year number 8, and we're not big, but we've been there. We've been through the trenches, and we've seen a lot of entrepreneurs rise because a platform like ours exists. And we've partnered with major brands like AB InBev, Standard Bank, and a whole lot of others where they help carry the message and the purpose of what we're trying to do onto other markets. So I am just simply sharing this to show you that it's not just about us buying into a franchise. This is very important for you to understand. It's for you to trust the process and for us to protect ourselves in launching a platform like this, because a franchise, an existing franchise, is de-risked. It's got less risks out there, and we can almost future-proof the journey. I mean, every business you invest in will lose money in some form or the other. So we are trying to find ways to invest in businesses that have less risks. That's number one, and it's very critical to understand. But you must understand that we are thinking ownership because, hey, if you're sitting at the table and you own a piece of the pie, you can influence the transformation agenda. You can call on others and ask them that, hey, I want to redirect a couple of certain spend towards Black entrepreneurs. So diversity becomes a critical thing in our thinking of transforming value chains. We can see that the enterprise development agenda and the transformation agenda in this country is struggling. And it's struggling because we do not have ownership at the table. And those that do have ownership at the table, they are individuals and they own it for themselves. And what we are trying to do is democratize ownership. And we can do it. Our forefathers tried this, and so we've learned, we've gone and done some research. I mean, African Bank, if you think in the days of Ntate Matsonyane, those guys were bold to start a bank in apartheid times, If you think of NAFCOC, there's a whole lot of leaders who came before us who have started this thing. VBS and ES corruption kind of infiltrated them, but VBS was a mutual bank. Do you know how close we were to being a commercial bank, to having a Black-owned commercial bank in this country? And it had to be infiltrated in that way. What I'm simply showing you is that nothing that we are starting is new. Nothing is new under the sun. But there's so much that we can do collectively, where if we introduce technology, governance systems and processes that are quite solid for us to be accountable to the process, there's a lot that can happen. Magic is waiting for us. And there's no shortage of money. There's a shortage of leadership, shortage of vision, and shortage of systems that we can use to scale our solutions. So I'm just simply encouraging you that if you want to start a stokvel, start it today. And if you need assistance with it, holla at a brother. But hey, it will come at a cost. Malik?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just wanted to look at the numbers, in the food franchising industry. I think we've got some pretty interesting numbers. I mean, and these are numbers just from 2017, just this one point. The franchising industry makes about 300 billion a year. And this was in 2017. And the first question that comes to mind is, how much of that do we own? And by we, I mean you and me. And by you and me, I mean us brown people. Do you understand? It would be really interesting to know who's actually eating from that. And 9 times out of 10, which is the sad part of it all, is that it would usually be people who are not even from the country, they're in the States, they're in Australia, they've identified the resources, they've identified the opportunities in our own country. Yeah. We've overlooked them and they come and they invest in us. But all that money goes back to them.
Yeah.
and we're just consumers, you know,
and the
we're just consumers.
Yeah, and the concepts are ours. I mean, think about Kota Joe. Do you guys know Kota Joe, the brand? That's a white-owned brand. Kota.
Right? And we're just talking about Ishisanyama as well, which was like, I've hardly ever seen any white people going in to buy into Ishisanyama, but I mean, hey, you know, these people stays making money from concepts that benefit Black people because our people are just not, we're not the let's stand up and do it type, you know, and it doesn't benefit us. And that's why especially with our educational series with the stokvels, you know, if you've joined and you're a member, you know, we're releasing videos every week to teach people about, you know, transitioning from a stokvel to a cooperative, so that you can participate in all these opportunities, because being just a stokvel and taking the money and putting it in the bank does not work for you as a stokvel because you withdraw it at the end of the day. But then what happens when December comes and you've got all that money and you can buy into a business? And most of the stokvels cannot buy into businesses because they're not legal entities. And that's what we are trying to fight against. You know, the stokvel industry in South Africa, it makes what?
Over 49 billion.
49 billion, close to 50. We're almost there. Can now imagine all that money coming, most of it probably from poor communities. I can imagine half of the people that I know, abaselokishini, you know, bangeni stokvel like 100 rand, you know, and that 100 rands, it contributes to that 40 billion. Now imagine that coming back to you, being in your hood, being, you know, in your check, Alex, and you're able to get out because you spent 12 months investing just $100. Coming all the way from a concept here, Joe. You understand?
I'm gonna flip the camera because I need to see the comments. I apologize.
Okay, the comments are here. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, it is so critical for us to understand that there's no shortage of talk. You know, we are all talking in this country when it comes to, you know, we need to do our own, we need to start our own, we need to do this. We talk a lot about that, right? What we struggle with, I'm just putting this on the screen so that you can see better. Buddy, you're going to have to come closer. I don't bite, I promise.
Social distance.
Screen, Instagram. I can Instagram made us a little corner.
That's my hair.
Yeah. So there's no shortage when it comes to people having ideas. There's no shortage when it comes to people talking about the injustices of this country.
Yeah.
And I promise you, me and I'm done crying. Let's know this. I'm done crying. I have never been funded in this country. I've tried, I've applied, I've never been funded. But what I do know for sure, I'm blessed just enough to do my own thing, to organize people. We started, let me show you this. We started the THUDmoney franchise stokvel without a single cent. We just got a community of like-minded people together, being Stokvela, Palengo Holdings, Township Economic Franchise by Batabile, and ourselves, and Stokvela themselves. And we said, look, let's mobilize communities online and get money together because we want to buy that franchise. We did not spend a single cent on advertising. We used our currency, social currency, the social media platforms that we are all on. That's what we used to get money going. And people have responded. You can do that thing too. Reach out to people with influence, reach out to people with clout online, reach out to people who are trusted and get the idea going. One of the things that are lacking more than anything else is a strength in ideas. Like our ideas, man. We have seen over 10,000 pitches on that platform over the last 8 years in our 14 countries. Majority of our ideas, guys, suck. And how do you know your ideas suck? Because your peers are not putting money into them. If your peers are not buying, if your own family is not buying into your idea, why do you think any other investor is going to put money into it?
But I've got it.
Shoot.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, your family will not buy. Your family is not your target market.
No, families.
But you must convince the next person.
Families are the biggest supporters.
Are you serious?
Yes. What we struggle with is us showing them why what we are doing matters.
Yeah.
My brother, Umusa, you know, he's like I call him my banker. Like we find each other in that way. If during the month, he needs money from me. At the end of the month, I need money from him. You know, like we've got that thing going amongst ourselves. He has never thought about starting a business until this year. Yeah, like they show up, him and my sister, they would show up at THUD. My family once showed up in 2013 when we launched our partnership with SAP. You know, it was like a big family moment and stuff. But they were just like, yo, at least now we know, you know, he's not a hobo, he's not selling his body out there or something, you know, like we can see the big brand, because that's what our families believe, right? Validation from established entities and white-owned businesses. Sharp, we get it. That's been the narrative for the longest time. But my brother this year is mobilizing his own friends, and he's employed, by the way. He's mobilizing his own friends to come into the stokvel thing and understand, because we're talking franchising. What I'm simply saying is the idea is so clear and so crisp in his mind. He can see it. A franchise, I've seen it. I buy it at McDonald's, I buy it Jimmy's, I buy it wherever. Now Lego saying I can own a piece of this if I also put money into this thing. He's mobilizing his own people. He's like, yo, guys, let's jump in. Let's get in then.
Yeah.
Your family will support you. Your friends will support you if your idea is clear and if your idea is simple. What we often do, we try and bullshit people by talking all this gibberish and nice little packaged English of nothing. We're saying nothing. Like, what value are you providing? So our ideas suck from that perspective, where we are just talking, man. Yazi, man. Yo, guys, you don't understand. I am so edgy and pissed off at this stage because people are even asking, where are the 30 events? When are 30 events coming back? I don't care for events, guys.
Events don't pay.
I don't care for events. We started that because there was a need at the time.
Yeah.
And especially the networking events on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
Right now, the need is for people to eat.
Yes.
Our economy has shrunk by another 6 to 7%. You know, COVID has put a nail in the coffin. We were already in recession before COVID. So COVID just amplified whatever was already happening. So a lot of the companies that are shutting down now were not doing well prior to this. We must not just blame COVID for it. But if you have an idea that allows other people to join in, allows other people to participate meaningfully, trust me, they will come for it. They will do their own research. This is the beauty. I can't bullshit you. As I talk to you now, you're on Google searching. What's this guy talking about? Is he bullshitting? And you can call me out right here live in front of people if I'm bullshitting. And that's the beauty. This is what I love about the internet. The fact that you just have to be truthful, man. That's the only innovation. Just be truthful and be a doer. Like, actually deliver. And if you can deliver on your word, you will make the money. We see it, we do it, and here it goes. Vusi there is asking, how do I join THUDmoney? Broaka, just go onto Google and say THUDmoney franchise stokvel. I think that's the easiest way. Or just go onto our website and say thud.africa. Thud spelled THUD.Africa. There's going to be a form you will see there. Click it. Or visit stokvela.com. On their landing page, you're going to see a blurb about THUDmoney. So there's many platforms from where you can do. And Ukjoina is 15,500 rand. We've got less than 20 spots left, and we are closing it after this because we just said we're going to raise 2 groups, 100 people each, and then we are going to focus on building franchises. We are turning those stokvels into cooperatives. Their ownership is equally owned amongst the 100 members per co-op, and we're going to build on from there. The idea or the dream is to have over 100 franchises in the next 3 years, and we can. I've seen franchisors scale up that easily, and I know that from our side, getting people to put money into a kitty is nothing. You know why? Because trust. People trust us. Why? Because as a crookie abantu, ungadli imali yabantu, ungayidli, like ungayidli imali yakho, idli imali yabantu. You know. So I know that we're gonna raise a whole lot more money. I see no struggles there. I mean, we've seen it with the People's Fund. We've done over 100 million already. In THUD, with the enterprise development, we've done over 60 to 70 million in developing entrepreneurs. And now with our franchising thing, which is a brand new thing, started 10 weeks ago, we're at over 1.5 million. And we are going to make sure that we redistribute and we eat equally and we build sustainable businesses. The beauty here is if you have 100 shareholders in a franchise, that's 100 families buying from that franchise because they want it to succeed. You need a billboard now. You don't need a TV advert. And then get onto stokvela.com, you'll understand why.
Yeah.
On stokvela.com, there's an app called stokvela.com. You can download it on any app store. And once you have downloaded that app, the beauty of it is the transparency.
Transparency, yeah.
If singayidlanga imali yabantu ku-THUD, sisenza ama-crowdfunding on the platform, now a picture. You've seen people put money into your own startup. People put money into your own startup.
Did he chow that mind?
He chowed it.
Busi.
He chowed it. I remember.
Busi is out here kind of trying to call us out, but the whole time.
No, So we raised money on crowdfunding on the third platform, as in you come and pitch your idea and people crowdfund for you. We've handed money over to people and people have gone on to do things with that money. We've done it with the People's Fund. We've got a digital platform where you can crowdfund. We've done it with the People's Stokvel. We're building a bank with the People's Stokvel. So if you want to join, just search for peoplestokvel.co.za. And then now we are building the franchising industry. We are going to transform it. I guarantee you.
I see I'm in 2 stokvels on the app. Is in 2.
No, you can't be in 2 stokvels, but if you're in THUDmoney co-op one, it means so cocky.
Oh no, I think he means he's in 2 different stokvels.
Oh, on the app already.
Yeah.
I am. You get it. Please try and transform the stokvelas into investment stokvels.
Yeah.
Because we actually need to create value, to generate value in the economy. Nobody is coming to employ us or our kids. I was telling somebody yesterday, Gucci, my sister, she's going for her master's degree now. She's got her honors, so she's got 2 degrees. I had to employ her in our business because she couldn't find a job. A brilliant young Black woman in this country. Really brilliant, with a work ethic second to none. Like, my sister works as hard as I do, and I am difficult. But my sister she's a beast. She couldn't find a job. She had done already 2 learnerships and whatever. I was just like, come in and build real experience in our business, and we paid her, And then she had to exit, but she had built the experience and now she's in a job. Nobody is coming to employ us up until we can employ people in our own businesses. So how about we take the money and invest it into businesses where we can collectively have ownership in them and influence the agenda. And we don't just bring money. This is what excites me. We don't bring money only into these things. We bring our skills. We bring our friends. We bring our networks. Why? Because we know we are also going to benefit. And I've told people before, don't ask Black people to donate. We don't have money to donate.
Donation.
But when you tell Black people to invest, they get it. They're like, yo, I need to have multiple income streams. We're just tired of watching about Robert Kiyosaki and everybody else telling us how to make money. We have the means. We have the capability. We have the mental capacity to think and to actually execute. And we are doing it right now. So start your own. And if you need me to come and share virtually, please, because if you ask me to come to your stokvel physically, I'm going to charge you some serious money. For now, virtually, on Zoom or whatever, any of the digital platforms, ask me how, DM me, and I will charge you accordingly. I see some comments there, but
all right, I don't know, you read. So I was just looking at the online food deliveries. I mean, looking at our stokvel and trying to find a location and things like that.
Yeah.
Even though the local economy, well, I won't say local because, COVID was a global thing. Even though economies were contracting, local deliveries are set, well, according to stats, they could reach up to 110
billion, 110 billion.
Can you imagine by the end of 2020? So it's a growing cycle. It's where people are putting their money because there's no innovation in food, you know. People need to eat.
Yes.
People will always eat. There is no innovation in bringing food to people's tables. So even if there's money or there is no money, people are always going to need and want to eat. And that's why this sector is growing at the rate that it's growing. And the most important thing is location.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Yeah.
Are the people where you are located aware what you are selling?
Yeah.
Are you selling something that's up to standard? Does your product speak to the people in your community? Because you don't need to do much marketing. The people will market your product because they accept it, because they love it, because it's up to the standard.
Yes.
You know, what you need to do is bring them value and let them do the talking.
Deliver on quality.
That's it.
And be trustworthy.
Of course. So I mean, so it's really important for us as we are looking for a site to, to set up our very first franchise, to be looking at, location. It's the most important thing for us. And that's why we've really just dived in deep. We are stuck, not really stuck, but we are purely focused on making sure that the spot that we are picking, the spot that we are choosing, will benefit us in a way that, puts us on the steps now to would say, we made $1 billion.
Guys, all I know about what we've started right now, we're going to be telling people on the United Nations stage about how to get Africans together to think ownership and to transform their own communities. We're going to do it. You just watch. And not because we are brilliant, but because we're finally getting it as Africans across the world, that we need to gather ourselves as communities. We need to think of community capital as a concept that allows us for shared ownership, shared profits, and also shared skills. You know, I think what's often missing, and it's not a new concept. If you go into the US or into Germany or other countries, especially also even in the UK, there's a lot of credit unions. I mean, I keep challenging people. My dad is a pastor, by the way, and I know that they think I'm being blasphemous when I start speaking like this, but churches were set up to alleviate poverty. But churches are busy speaking, so they're propagating what everybody is speaking. Like, we get there, we pray, we holla. Yes, praise Jesus, and then we get out. Maraslambi, and we left money in the church. What a church should be doing is starting a credit union. Google it, how credit unions work. And in other countries, credit unions exist and they've been run like that. Even mainstream churches, if you think about the Anglican Church, a lot of the private schools in South Africa, like top-notch private schools, are Christian-owned schools. That's because community, you know, like the moment you start thinking of concepts from a communal point of view, you change the game. You can't do things alone, but collectively, there's so much more that we can do.
Yeah.
And that is what we are out to prove at every step. Like, you might think just franchising. We are thinking ecosystem. Through the franchise that you own, if we can start brands and franchise them out, then we're going to start thinking about who makes the delivery. Where are we getting the potatoes? Is the person who's supplying as part of our membership? If they're not, we're going to find a member within our community of the stokvel to be the ones that supply the stuff. And that is the thinking, because that's how you create jobs. The car that is being driven, a member needs to own the garage. The petrol station where we get the gas from, a member needs to be part of that. And there's a lot of that thinking out there. There's a lot of people trying different things in different ways. We're simply going to remap this and say, okay, these guys, here's where we can plug in from this. Because up until we can create ecosystems that work, we're going nowhere. We're going to be singing poverty. We're going to be seeing white monopoly capital. We're going to be seeing all of these things that hurt us without feeling like we've got power to change it. And we do have power to change it. A lot of the big companies, PEP benefits from this country, from Black people in this country. ShopRite benefits from Black people in this country. Like, you can think of any big brand, they benefit from Black people because we are over 80% population. We're the ones who are spending in those things, but we don't have ownership. And as a result of not having ownership, we're not able to influence decisions. Townships should have been eradicated by now, because townships were set up as projects globally. If you think of any township, it's a slum. It was never set up for people to live in. But Black people are now stuck in there. We can only eradicate these things and change the narrative if we have ownership at the table, and we can redirect our own spend from our own profits to go and change our neighborhoods and our environment. We have, unless you own something, how else are you going to influence it? If you're not owning, you're owned. You know, like, that is the thinking more than anything. Where I really feel like, guys, we're sleeping, and this is the right time for us to get together collectively. Like, it's hard to do things individually. Anyway, buddy, I want us to jump into the next part of what you have to share for us, which is around the tools, right? I'm just going to read the comments here quickly. All right. So Ephraim says, entrepreneurship is the way for job creation and is not only for uneducated people. We need to make it fashionable for educated people as well. What I'm loving, Ephraim, is that in this country, Black people in corporate are feeling it. They're feeling the heat of racism. They're feeling the heat of being excluded. And as a result, they're starting businesses. And I've always told them this, but they would look at me funny until they jump onto the other side and they want to have coffee. And what I told them is, whilst you're in corporate, reach out to us and let's build a bridge. So that when you decide to jump out and start your own thing, you've got a bridge into tapping into corporate. But we get things late. We get things when we're on the other side. Excel Hadi, I see you, bro. Share the tools with us, Mbali.
Okay, cool. I really wanted to get into the bub sticks, you know.
Yeah, talk to us.
Before we get into the tools,
yes.
Let me see if I can share this screen.
Look at Mesh looking at us. Mesh, come and design our space, man. That's it. When I put your shoes on.
Okay, it's fine. It's gonna take a minute. But Lebu, there was a very interesting concept of amapap sticks that I wanted us to talk about. And these pap sticks are making a killing. Just imagine, in shape here poloni, and inside gune papa, and there's a sauce inside, and people are buying that. They're going for like 7 rands, 10 rands, 15 rands, depending on the side, because there's like 300 gram, however big. And do you know who's buying those products?
Of course.
This product has been making a killing since lockdown because people know the people in the hood have a shortage of food. Now, how do you solve that? You bring them something that appeals to them or something that they can afford, most importantly. And I don't think it's a black dude who started this.
And Mesh is giving us feedback. We're going to listen. Mesh is saying he's dissing us because there's a shape behind. Sorry, Mesh. Sorry.
I'm not taking that. Do you know what you're talking to the producer? It's not Abine.
Oh, so the complaint is that we're not close enough to be seen within the screen.
This one, but here we're fine. We should be fine.
Mesh,
right,
put money in.
Level distracting me. It's fine. So, anyways, let's get into the tools, guys. During lockdown, still on level 2, but I had a chance to explore some of the tools online because I couldn't do some of my side gigs, and I got a couple of very interesting projects online where you legit need to hop on a website. If you've got certain online skills, hop on a website, register your account, register your online payment service, and then literally get paid. You can get paid in 24 hours. You can get paid within the first hour of registering. Now, the one that I found very interesting, but it was limited because there wasn't much movement. I downloaded on my phone. It's called Field Agent. So what Field Agent does, literally, they're looking for it's brands that are looking for insights into, how everything is set up from when they release the brand up into the store. So let's say maybe I'm releasing a new lotion, right? And I just want to see how it's packaged at the store. How's the pricing? Is everything that we agreed on par when the product hits the shelf? And so it's mostly used by brands who want to get more insight into what's happening out there when the product hits the store. So they can send you to places like that. Let's say they're sending you to Spa, take a picture of, our chicken brand that we just set out. And they want to see is it up to the agreement that people had agreed on between the brand owner and the store manager or whoever. And then another interesting one that doesn't need much. Okay, so Field Agent, you would need to get around, you would need to move around, but you can get something like $5 per job. And mostly, you must put in your location so that they can send you jobs that are within your vicinity, so you don't have to spend too much money trying to get out there as well.
Okay.
And then there's Google Opinion Rewards. They legit just looking for customer feedback, brands as well. They always have something going on online, and they're just looking for people to write reviews. If you've got your product, if you've got your hotel on TripAdvisor, you would be the one to go and write the reviews and things like that, and you get paid for that.
Nice.
Just like 2 minutes write up of, hey, this hotel is cool or it's not dope or whatever. You get paid for that. And then the other one, Lebu, is OneSpace. So OneSpace is a lot like, not a lot, just a little bit like Fiverr. So OneSpace is for freelancers. It allows you to create content articles or edit, register information or services. Say maybe, I've got this coffee and I need somebody to write, a nice explanatory message of what the coffee is like, the ingredients and things like that. We are starting brands. We are doing amazing things, but as small businesses, we don't have the amount of money to retain some of these services full time. And the beauty of this is that the world is changing. Nobody's going into the office every day. Shooting myself. You know, but you do need access to these services, and these people who are on standby, who are willing to give you these services, legit within an hour, you can package your product and release it, have somebody else shoot something else wherever they are. You send them the information that they need, and everybody can do it online, and you don't need to leave your house. You don't need to, hey, man, you know, technology has definitely made so many things easier for us. I mean, we launched our stokvels virtually. So, I mean, we know what we're talking about.
and I think that the beauty of what Mbadi is sharing is that you might think you don't have a plan, but the internet has kind of democratized everything for us, where you can make a young $100 here, another $10 over there, another $2 somewhere. But because of the exchange rate and all the opportunities that exist on the internet, we don't have an excuse for not making money as long as you've got internet connection, you've got a phone. You don't even need a laptop. Just your phone and internet connection, you better be making money. You know, I think that's the importance of why she's sharing this segment.
And I mean, you know, our series speaks to think ownership. So this means you are legit responsible for everything that you are doing. You are responsible for getting yourself on these sites. You are responsible for making sure that the tasks are complete. Nobody's going to come run after you. You know, if you don't finish this task, you're not going to get paid. So you are creating your own businesses on the side, and, you know, you are leaving footprint for all the work that you've done so that people can reference you wherever you are. So I would say get on there, because there's huge brands, you know. KFC might need a few things here and there done by a freelancer. I'm just making an example. I'm sure they have like a solid marketing team. But to have that on your CV, to say that you've worked with awesome brands like that, would really, I mean, give you a kick. And then my favorite ones so far are transcribing platforms, which I found to be very interesting because they pay a whole lot more. You can make from something like $50 per project submitted. So I know last time I shared with you guys Transcribe Divas and Rev and Transcribe Me. And I did explain that Rev is a bit difficult to get on unless you've done like some sort of like media related job and you understand the certain things because of the jargon that they use there. But I also found like a new one. Transcribe Divas is better, and it's not only for divas. Like you can hop on yourself if you're a guy. Scribby. So Scribby is very interesting and nice because, you know, the test that you go through in order to hop onto the site, in order to register yourself, is not as hectic as the other sites. So you can translate video or audio into text. And I think transcribing is the next big thing right now, because everybody's having their meetings online and nobody's sitting there taking minutes, but companies do need those notes. They do need that translated into text for filing or whatever. So I'm thinking, level, every 10 minutes, there's probably something, there's probably a meeting happening online, because people are working from home. And besides that, yeah, everybody's online, hey? Like, everybody is. So if you're not, I mean, you are missing out. So get onto Scribby, get onto Transcribe Divas, get onto Rev, and maximize, guys. You can get paid from $50 up to $100 per day. And $100 we checked that day is how much? $1,000.
Somewhere there.
$103 was 1,700. That's a lot of money for just one job completed. So guys, do think ownership and own these spaces and go on, give them your skills. You're just giving them your skills. You're just giving them your time, you know? And then Clear Voice, which is also my new favorite. Clear Voice allows content creators. Now, if you're a content creator, if you create video, if you are a designer, you can get onto Clear Voice and what are you doing? You can go into Clear Voice and create content for brands. And this is from like editing videos, creating editorials, newsletters. If you are a creative, trust me, brands are trying to get noticed online. Like I said, everybody's moving online and everybody needs online presence. So if you can offer those skills on a freelance basis and you don't have to, you know, keep advertising on Facebook, hey guys, I edit. No, it's fine, you edit, but get on Fiverr, you know, get on a platform where people are actually looking for you. Because like I argued, you know, earlier, you know, 9 times out of 10, our families are not our target market. I mean, we expect them to support us, but your skills can also be of good use elsewhere. So on Clear Voice, you can maybe write, maybe you can recreate a website for hotels, for restaurants, for a clothing brand, whatever, from video material to social media marketing to, hey, the list is endless. Yeah, and you can make awesome money on these platforms. Think ownership. You will be the one. Oh, yeah. You will be the one who decides your time. You will be the one who takes up. Listen, you can pick and choose which job you are taking, you know. So you can start small. Like I said, see, there was a platform called ACX where, you know, people who have written books want to have their books translated into audio, where you can just log on, create a profile, and then translate those books, and you can audition amongst other people. And if they like your voice, it's really about your voice. If they like your voice and they like your style of delivery, which is something you're going to have to brush up on, and then you'll probably be getting more gigs. And thinking ownership, ACX is a platform that allows you to earn royalties for as long as the book is making money. So really, really think ownership when you look at these opportunities. Yeah, that's it for today.
I love it. I love it. Shy TV show lang as a movie. We're on like 4 different platforms at the same time. We've got our little studio app here. We pay for it, by the way. That's why it's branded. So pay. Just remember to pay.
Think ownership.
Think ownership. and you must search for in marketing. Search for the English guys. Sorry. Search for the term category ownership and do a bit of research when you are thinking about how you can push yourself out there. So, for instance, what we are learning now, it's a series that I'm going through for myself, is to stop hunting thud and to think about a category that we can own in your mind. So when we say think ownership, you're gonna think thud. When you say start a stock file today, you're gonna think thud, because that's what we are trying to encourage people to do. And the more people can do that type of thing, the better it is for everybody else. Nothing thrives if it's just done in silos, like, you know, the underground movement. Hey guys, like, get off that nonsense. I mean, I remember in the days of hip hop when we were growing up. I grew up in the 90s. I turned 40 this year. Get it twisted. when we were growing up in the 90s, we used to listen to underground rap. Those guys were broke as fuck. Like, and it was because they didn't understand that, yes, you can have a niche audience, but unless you're doing something that actually people like, that they're willing to buy at scale, you're gonna remain poor.
Yeah, so, your shit cannot be hot only here.
Yeah, like, you know, I often diss my Soweto friends. You know, my Soweto buddies, when they put up a status update on Facebook, they will get like 200 comments. How crazy? 200 comments, but nobody knows you in Tembisa. Nobody knows you in Kailicha, but you're on Facebook, a platform that has scale. So all the people that are commenting are from Soweto. Like, let's change that game, guys. And as a result, Soweto DJs, not all of them, by the way, but a lot of Soweto DJs struggle to get out of Soweto, struggle to attract new audiences outside of that, because you're not thinking about category ownership. You're not thinking about how do I own this segment of the marketplace digitally, online, for people to transact with me. And for us, when we talk about stock files and franchising, I promise you're not going to go anywhere else except to what we are directing you to, because you can see we're proving it, we're showing results. We've raised over 1.5 million in 10 weeks, and we just keep rising just from talking to people like you. I've been noticing on my other dashboard here that as we're telling you guys about the THUDmoney franchise stock file, you people are subscribing. You know, it's because I'm sharing with you something that is tangible, that is real, and you are sitting there thinking, I need to try this out. And I'm also saying to you, You don't have to join ours. Go into Stokvel and start your own.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of stock files in there.
So it's not really about us. It's about the category. Like if we can have more people starting these things, it will be better for the culture, And what we are trying to do beyond that is to formalize these things and then bring in experts who can help us to set up the right governance systems and to help scale our solutions. Technology is a beautiful thing, guys. We've got Stokvel members who are in Zimbabwe who have joined on the platform because they heard about it when we were promoting it on Facebook. That is the beauty of technology. And I would love for us to utilize it in that way, where we are not afraid to just easily jump in and utilize something like this. I want to leave it at that for now because it is 11:54. In case you are wondering and you've just joined now as to what are we on about, we're about stokvels. We're about how you can turn stokvels into cooperatives, and we're about ownership, thinking ownership, and transforming value chains through a collaborative network. We have done it with the People's Fund. We've done over 100 million in revenue to date. We've enabled over 200 million rand in purchase order funding with entrepreneurs who we've funded. We have done over 70 million rand in enterprise development with THUD. And now our latest is in the franchising space with a collaborative group of people, of like-minded people, where we've raised over 1.5 million, and we're going for 3 million. For members who get it, who believe, who put money, who transact, and we're going forward. So please, try your own or join ours. Either way, whatever that you decide to do. And if you feel like you're going to get stuck along the way with the stokvel that you are in or the stokvel that you decide to start, you can reach out to people like me. I will charge you for advice. It's not going to be for free. I just want to make that very clear.
He charges me too.
Yep, I do. And as a result, she's making money.
I am.
That's the game, guys.
No, honestly, he is my accountability partner. Mentor. I think since joining that, I've probably ventured into 3 or more business ventures, and maybe the ones that have dropped off along the way is not because it was complicated. It was more complicated than I'm not making money. It was about time.
Sorry, 2 seconds. Instagram community, they're taking us off in 10 seconds. So bye-bye to you. And thank you for jumping in. I appreciate you. For the rest, we continue. Yeah.
Who was I? You've been cutting me.
I'm sorry. It's just multiple times.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, it helps to have people who've got your back, people who have similar interests in what you're doing. Because not everybody will be interested in what you're doing. But when you find mentors, when you find people who've gone ahead of you, who are willing to help, I say, why not take that chance? And they will not come for free. That's just the truth. Because this is people's knowledge, this is people's time, and at the end of the day, you will be making money. So you gotta take out money to make money. It makes sense.
And don't be afraid to pay.
Yeah. I think ownership is about community. It's about team. It's about the backup. It's about all of us. Moving as one. 10 of us are moving as one. That's Jay-Z, by the way. And I think it's going to be awesome, guys. So less than 20 spots left for THUDmoney franchise stokvel. Make sure that you register. It's on our website. Just go to thud.africa. And choose THUDmoney franchise stokvel. Once you register on our website, and then you can get the info pack and understand fully what THUDmoney franchise stokvel is about before you join. You will have all the information and how your turnover looks like, when to expect something back, and all that.
Right.
Yeah, 1.5 million. Yes, in 10 weeks. We did it. Yeah, so let's catch up next week, guys. I think we will bring in more tools, but next week we'd like to focus on brand positioning. We're going to bring in a couple of guys who are going to be advising. It's okay, now you've got this product, now you've got this skill, now you've got, now you've got this skill that you're offering on a freelance basis. How do you decide what price to put on yourself or what price to put on your skill as an entrepreneur, as a small business, as somebody who's starting out? I think it's a very important conversation to have because, like I said, we are all migrating online, we're all freelancing, but we are stuck, because, sometime this week I was actually looking at potential job and, there were some numbers there that I didn't understand. It was okay. this is how I'm gonna earn and things like that. I don't want to put anybody on blast, but I'm just saying, you know, I didn't have there were some questions I couldn't answer because I'm only used to this is the service that I'm offering, and this is how much I usually get paid for it. But what happens when somebody else comes with a different price?
Yes.
I can't negotiate because I'm not talking from a position of power, and that's why we want to bring in people like that to help us figure out the pricing. What exactly needs to go into me deciding with my t-shirt is 250 when I bought it for 80 bucks a jet? Is it just the words that you're putting there, or is it something else?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's it.
It's lovely having this, guys. Cheers.